It seems like everyone and their grandma has an Etsy store nowadays. You hear of new overnight success stories from YouTubers like myself or posts in groups. However, sometimes the reality for the vast majority of Etsy sellers is wildly different. What you don't see is for every massive win by a stay at home mom with 20 kids, only an iPhone, making $5 trillion every 5 seconds, with only 1 minute of work every day, there are hundreds of failed Etsy stores. So, what sets them apart? What do all failed Etsy stores have in common? Well, in this video, I'd like to talk about a fundamental difference between successful Etsy stores and failed Etsy stores. This is why 99% of Etsy stores fail in their first year. What's up, everybody? My name is Dave. Welcome back to the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do new videos all the time about e-commerce and Etsy success. This video isn't about doing your tags or titles wrong. It's not about any photograph problems or anything to that degree. This video is about a fundamental concept that must be applied and reviewed in your own mind and in your own practices if you yourself wants to become successful on Etsy. You see, I came from an era on Etsy when print on demand just got approved by Etsy. In the beginning, Etsy only allowed handmade sellers to be on the platform, which brings me to my first point of why most sellers fail. Back then, Etsy sellers had an extreme passion for their product. They made it themselves, meaning they developed a skill and a craft over years and years, most times at least, to make this product and to sell this product. This immediately equated to an extreme passion, desire, and drive for success. So while most of the sellers nowadays are driven by money, the sellers back then were driven by their passion. So the first reason why people fail on Etsy is because of a lack of passion. I'm not saying you need to develop years and years of a skill in order to be successful on Etsy. Nowadays, it's quite the contrary. You can start a print-on-demand store, digital download store, or some kind of AI art store and do amazing if you know what you're doing. But back then, there was passion, and that is why a lot of sellers fail nowadays. They see an Etsy video on YouTube about how to make $1 trillion in 2 seconds with an iPad and 1 second a day of effort. They try it, they don't succeed, and they fail. So passion, drive, and an actual desire and care about the product is number one reason why people fail on Etsy nowadays. The obvious solution to this problem is to have passion about the product. If you are starting a new Etsy store or a second Etsy store, my advice to you would be that you pick something in a niche that you yourself belong in. Then you can have that passion connected to it. If it's a print-on-demand store, then I highly recommend starting with designs that are in niches you care about. It will greatly affect your chances of success. But let's say you've already started a store purely driven out of the need or desire for more money in your life. That's totally fine. Let's say you don't have a passion for the product being sold. That's totally fine. We can't go back in time. This brings us to point number 2 of why Etsy sellers fail. They don't have a plan, a blueprint, or direction in their Etsy store. Without a proven strategy or without direction and planning in their store, it is destined to fail. A lot of people get the initial motivation, the initial excitement from a few YouTube videos, they start something, and then they fail. Without having a good strategy in place and a reason why you want to achieve a different income online, you are destined to fail. If you start it just to see if it works or to try to see if it works and don't get there, you always quit. People usually quit at that point. So number 2 reason why people fail is because they don't have a solid plan, they don't stick to that solid plan, and they aren't motivated to continue on. Because usually without a plan, it's hard for people to look forward into the future and see and understand what they're working towards. It's more of a day-to-day, how I feel type situation rather than I'm building an empire type situation. So Whether or not you don't have passion or do have passion, or do have a plan or don't have a plan, I hope this video served you well because I've seen lots of stores grow to success. I've seen lots of stores fall to the ground. And these two elements, these two ingredients have always been at play, almost always. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like. Let me know your thoughts below and have a beautiful day.